Hey folks, welcome back to Good Enough Customs. So yeah, this week is it's kind of a weird one. To be honest, I'm flat exhausted. It's been a busy 6 to 8 weeks. Getting everything prepped and ready to go for Hot Rod Power Tour, doing the Hot Rod Power Tour, going and picking up Steve, bringing him back and fixing him from Hot Rod Power Tour. And then getting everything prepped and ready to go for Southeastern Truck, and then just normal day-to-day stuff and all that. I'm beat. So while I'm kind of taking a week off, I'm not really taking a week off. I'm actually not doing any work on vehicles this week. So basically the shop is just an absolute disaster. Just from, getting everything prepped for the Hot Rod Power Tour and Southeastern Truck and just everything. So I came out here yesterday and was just like, holy crap. There's stuff everywhere. I was like, I can't even pull Jackson's Blazer out right now because there was so much stuff right in this area and then all down through there. Now, granted, there's still some stuff here. I've got this Pontiac 400, that toolbox, that tranny tunnel, my heater, and somewhere under there is my pop-up tent. I can't even really get his truck out without moving a bunch of crap. And then also the other day I was greeted with this wonderful puddle, which appears to be tranny fluid coming from the Blazer. And I'm not sure what's up with that, but once I finish cleaning stuff out, we'll dig into it and see what's going on with it. But yeah, so this week, unfortunately, there's not a whole lot going on. I started cleaning out here, like I said, yesterday. Got quite a bit of stuff picked up and cleaned up. I even got my workbench partially cleaned up. So I still want to address all of this because there's just crap everywhere. I'm really bad about just setting stuff there and be like, I'll get that later, and then later never comes. So I plan on working on all this other stuff over here and getting that kind of straightened up. But that's not what we're doing today. So a while back, I had some time off. It was back during Battle in Bama, whenever that show was going on, and I wasn't going to that. But I still had time off from work, so I figured I'd do a little cleaning up and picking up on the outside and in and around the shop. And I did film where I was tearing down a cab. I had a 79 cab that I tore down for parts. So I did film that. So that's what we're going to do this week is we're going to, tear down that cab. Rather than just not having a video, we've at least got this. So hope you guys enjoy. I usually do this at the end of the video, but if y'all guys, like the content, be sure to hit the like button. And if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. It's free. It don't cost nothing. And it helps. All that stuff helps to get the channel out there and grow the channel and do all this other fun stuff. So anyways, without further ado, here we go. Today is the day I was supposed to be leaving to go to Battle in Bama. And, as I've said a couple times, I don't plan on going this year. Things just didn't work out. So I still got the time off from work. Figure, hey, why not? So what I'm going to end up doing is it's going to be kind of a random video, I guess. It's just me running around the shop, doing things that need to be done. I didn't think about even recording this till just now. So just a few minutes ago, actually last night, I went to a buddy of mine, Jason. He's moving out of state. So he's like, dude, you want this 350? It's got spun bearings in it. He ran it low oil and smoked all the bearings in it. And he's like, if you don't want it, you can have it. If not, I'll just take it to the dump. And I was like, well, crap, it's a good 350, minus the spun bearings. I've got a low mile crankshaft for a 350. I think he said he's got a broken stud on one of the piston rods. And I was like, I've got a set of 72,000 mile piston rods. They're in perfectly good shape. So I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'll come get that. So I went out there last night, picked that up. There it is. Sorry, it's just kind of a mess over here. This is the corner of shame. So this is kind of where everything gets tucked back for a while. So a little 350. Don't really know much about it other than it's a 2-bolt main. I think he said he decoded the numbers on it. It was like a 60 something or 70s block. I don't remember now. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty filthy. But it's, you know, it was a good motor till he ran it low on oil and smoked the bearings. But anyways, so like I said, I'm getting stuff cleaned up. I'm getting stuff picked up, things I've been kind of putting off. So since I got the day to do kind of whatever I want rather than sitting on my butt, I went ahead and drug this big old thing in here. So if y'all don't remember, this was on a video where we went and picked up all those square bodies, that piece of crap Fiero parked way over there. I paid 50 bucks for this cab, and the primary thing for this cab that I want is this piece. I'm basically going to cut it right around here and cut it somewhere down there and just take this whole piece out. That was the primary reason for buying it, because the Blazer, the strikers on the Blazer, I mean this one's the good one, so it's been booger welded in. It's not in the right spot. This metal's all fatigued and just garbage. Passenger side actually fell out, so yeah, no, we got that going on. So I got this cab primarily for the strikers. I mean, it's 50 bucks, whatever. And then as I got to look into the cab, I was like, well, it's still actually got some decent parts on it. I actually pulled this sill plate off, which is right there. It's in decent shape. The other side, I mean, you can kind of see it. It's mangled all to pieces. Let's see. It's got these green seat belts. They're a little faded. The seatbelt action mechanism, whatever you want to call it, down in there, it's rusted up like crazy. So I figure I might pull it apart and, you know, try to lube it up, soak it, do something, try to make that work again. It's got a steering column. This was a 4-wheel drive cab, so it's got the tall center hump. We got a gas pedal, we got a brake pedal assembly. Let's see, we got a rear view mirror, which I haven't even looked to see if it's fogged out really bad or not. It's got the fan assembly. It was an AC truck apparently. Yeah, this booster and master cylinder, that's garbage. Still got the steering shaft hooked up to it. Don't quite know why, but it's not a terrible cab. Floors are gone in it, rockers are gone. People's already cut out part of the back. The other part that I wanted this cab for after I got to looking at it is, mine is this little guy. Of course, I don't need this piece, but on Steve, I've got rust all in this seam right here. This guy's just got a little surface rust. Mine is rotted out right there. Mine's also rotted out right here at the bottom where the toe board meets. I don't really care to figure out how to bend and make metal, and nobody makes a patch panel for that. So, oh, it's also got a wiper motor. Don't know if it works or not, but it's got the arms, all that part. So what I'm going to do, just in case I can use the parts for Steve whenever it comes time for that. That's way down the road. That's eventually I plan on blowing Steve apart and fixing all the rust on it. It's got a lot. But what I'm going to do in the meantime is I'm going to pop the windshield out, maybe. I'm going to cut it right here on the A-pillar. I'm going to cut it right here. I'm going to take that center transmission tunnel out. And I'm going to cut the floor, what's remaining of it, across. Cut it across over there and cut that A-pillar. And keep this front end piece, keep the firewall basically. Basically keep the firewall. I'm going to stick it out back. And whenever I get around to doing Steve, if I need patch panels, so to speak, I can just cut them out as needed and you know, make that work. I mean, this one, the air box is all rotted out on it right down here. That's okay. That part's actually solid on Steve. The worst part on Steve is actually right here at the pinch. It's pretty bad, and this one's bad, so I might not be able to use that part, but it's, you know, it's got good parts on it. So you know, there's a few things. I took it still had sun visors in it, you know, green. You know, I just random pieces and parts, you know, I was like, I can throw them in a bucket, take them to a, you know, swap meet, and 10 bucks, you know, for this, you know, this little box, 10 bucks for this little box, plus whatever I get for the rest of it in scrap. I figure I'll get my 50 back out of it pretty quick. So anyhow, so the headlight switch is still in this guy, so I was gonna pull it out And don't know if y'all guys have ever pulled a headlight switch on a square body before, but they're not difficult, but they are a little tricky. So you know, now you can kind of see an exploded view on a vehicle that I really don't care about. And I mean, really, I'm not too worried about saving this guy. I just figure, you know, it's good information that a lot of people just don't know, and rather than having to, you know, hunt for it and figure it out, maybe this will help you out. So a lot of people make the mistake of this, trying to get it out or trying to take the knob off or something like that. That doesn't work that way. So what you have to do, go ahead and pull the switch out. This should be loose. It should only be really finger tight. I actually had already gotten it loose with the screwdriver. Just took it and banged on it till it started spinning. Take that guy and go ahead and spin that to where you got a little room to move. And then you can reach back in here. Oh, not enough room. There we go. Then you got enough room to spin him around. And let me find my spot here. There we are. So on this side, on this part of the switch, there's a little button. Let's get in there so you can see that. This little guy right here. You just push this guy down and this guy will pop right out. Let's see if I can't set the camera to where it'll actually record that. So you just kind of push this little button in. Might have to push this guy in a little bit, push the button in. And the knob pops right out. And then you just go through and you unscrew this, and that pulls that way, this comes this way. And that's it. Pretty simple. But it's one of those things I know a lot of people get confused on, because they figure there's probably like an Allen key or something like that on here. Nope, this guy's pressed on, or pressed on and then shimmed or something. But it don't come off. So yeah, you can see a little nub on the end of it. But anyways, so that's that, and I figure I'll just kind of walk around and tear this thing down and, you know, chat while I do it. So catch back up here in a second. So we're going to drop this column, and in order to do that, we got to drop these bolts up here. There's one on either side. You know, if it has the panel, there's a panel that covers right here. You got to pull that panel off. There's two bolts that hold this collar up. I went ahead and shot it with some PB Blaster. This thing's been sitting out in the elements for a while. One thing else I'm going to do is every one of these little fasteners that I find, I'm snagging. You know, when you're doing a lot with square bodies and stuff, these little guys are gold, because they get lost. Well, that one's on there. There we go. They get lost, they get broke, and you know, you can find them, but none of them really fit quite as good as, you know, factory style. So so I'm gonna go through and rip all these out real fast while I'm thinking about it. And if you're having a hard time getting these little guys out, the trick is on the back side, it's got this little raised area, so it'll be on, you know, like this. You just reach back there, you grab that raised area, pull it, and that unlocks it. I don't know if you can see. It's got a little, try to figure out a way to see that. Yeah, you can see. It's got a little piece that just kind of locks in there. So you flip that back and you pull it out. Worst case, you take a screwdriver and put it on this end of it and kind of push it over. Then you can get behind it and flip it out of the way. So we're gonna go ahead and pull these guys. 5/8 is what I got on me. It's a little loose, but it's close enough. Oh, that's tightening. If I can get to it. Nope, that side ain't even on there. Fantastic. So now we got to go to the front, out on the firewall side, and get those nuts off. And I'll tell you, those are pretty dang rusty. So I don't know if they're going to come off easy. I'm probably going to fight with them. So we'll do that and I'll catch back up here in a second. All right, so this thing ain't gonna come out with this piece of the shaft on here. So what we're gonna do, let me get this out of the way. We're gonna take this little, I don't know what they call this, the intermediate shaft, I think. And if you got a C10, there's actually, you can do an upgrade on these instead of having this, rag joint end on it. There's an upgrade you can do with I think it's an early 90s Jeep Cherokee, and they actually have U-joints on both ends, and it bolts right in. So now what we got to do is we got to get these little guys off, and they are pretty dang rusty. I may have to put some heat on those, but we'll give her the old college try. All right, well, now we got the support off up here. We got the front piece off that just clamps it in. The only thing really left to do here is there's a panel right here. Just getting this panel off. And once we get that off, we can pull the steering column out. And now there's so much more room for activities in here.
So many activities!
Got that stinking steering column in the way. So I guess while I'm in here, I'm gonna go ahead and pull the throttle cable out, or the throttle pedal out. These are just good to hang on to. It's a pretty simple design, so they're good for just about any type of vehicle. If you wanted to set up a throttle cable on a little hot rod or some little rat rod or whatever, these are great little pedals for that, because it's just 3 bolts. You go through the firewall. You got a really nice little pivot point. It's got good travel, and it's a good, comfortable feeling cable throttle pedal. So cool. I've wrecked out quite a few of these cabs and trucks. So usually I'll take the brake pedal assembly and all that stuff. This one's in really bad shape. It's extremely rusty, so I'm not going to worry about it. I am going to take the e-brake cable release. I'm not going to take the assembly. I'm just going to take the release. And those are always handy to have as well. Yeah, that just pops out. It just has a little nylon thing that it clips into right there. So, little e-brake cable. Somebody might want that. Who knows? Now, I'm gonna work on getting this tunnel out, since, it's here. These are good for guys that want to do a manual, swap. Also, sometimes when you go to a bigger transmission, I'm not sure if for a lady was included in that, but I know on the bigger stuff like the 6L90s and your bigger transmissions that take a little more space underneath the truck, you need a little more height. Boy, that's interesting wiring. You need a little more height on the need a little more height on the tranny tunnel. So so these make good pieces for that, because then you don't have to fab a bunch of crap up. And even if you're just closing this thing off, it doesn't take much but just a piece of metal to close this shifter off. So we're going to get this guy unbolted. a bad odor to it.
Do you smell it? That smell. A kind of smelly smell. A smelly smell that smells.
Alrighty. Good news is, no wasp nests on the bottom of this. So this thing's been off at least once. Somebody used some really nasty stuff to seal it back up. But, cool. This thing's got a decent slider. So, let's see. I'm guessing it says, when the tailgate drops, the bullshit stops. Guess I was a fisherman. So only thing wrong with this slider that I can see, I mean, it'll polish out all right, but it's missing the latch on, you know, one side. This side's over here, little herky jerky, but you know, cleaning out these, cleaning out the rails probably make it a little bit better. So I'm gonna pull this rear window out. I don't know. I planned on taking the seat belts, but the more I think about it, the more I'm like, well, those bolts that hold these seat belts in, they're always just a nightmare to get out. I've actually been surprised so far. None of these have been really seized. I'll probably give it a shot, but if it fights me any, I'm not gonna worry about it. But I believe what I'm gonna do right now is, it's about lunch 30. So I'm gonna go in, grab me a bite, and then I'll get back out here, get this rear glass out, and then monkey with these seat belts, and then we'll get to cutting. So we'll catch up here in just a few. So just in case you couldn't see what exactly I was doing there, let's see. So what you have is, in these little corners, you got these little pieces right here. These are your locks. They lock that weather strip lock. These pieces that set inside the weather stripping, they set in there, and that's what actually holds the window in place. And then I've just taken a couple screwdrivers, stick it under, pry, and get it out of the weather stripping, and then walk it down just a little bit. And typically, once you get about halfway down the line here, that's when you want to be ready, because that window's going to pop out pretty soon. So yeah, you can tell I grabbed it by the bottom. I was pulling on it a little bit, and as soon as I hit that one last little spot, it just popped right out. So that's how you pop the rear windows out of these things. And you know, it takes a couple times of doing that and bending the hell out of the frame and breaking windows and stuff like that to, you know, kind of get it somewhat down. I've never done it with a solid glass though, so I'm sure that's a little more nerve-wracking. I've always ended up pulling sliders out. I just always seem to buy stuff with sliders. Hell, Steve's got a slider. The only one that's Big John's got a solid black glass, but it's a crew cab, so I'm not worried about a slider on it. But anyways, so that's how you do that. So moving on. So I'm gonna get in here, that rear view mirror. You know, it's a factory one. It's still got that stainless color to it. But the glass is actually all fogged up on the mirror, so I'm not going to worry about pulling that. I'm still kind of, I don't know if it's even worth trying to get these seat belts. You know, like I said, seat belts can be tricky. They can be tricky. They're usually a real chore to get out. But I'll give her a shot. We'll see if we can't get these seat belts out. you know, worst case, passenger seat belt and Steve is really frayed on the shoulder portion of it. So worst case, I'll just pull these out, throw them in Steve for right now, or at least the passenger side one, so he'll just have a green seat belt. But yeah, I guess I'm gonna do that, and then we'll get to cutting. So be right back. All right, well, those weren't that bad. Yeah, they were a little rough to get out. You know, quick tip in case you don't know this already. I would hope you do, but if you don't, quick tip for rusty or difficult to get bolts. Get them out just a little bit till it starts really fighting you. Of course, hitting it with penetrant and all that stuff. But once it gets to where it's really starting to fight you, with it, you know, a few threads out, shoot it again with some more penetrant, run it back down, back it back out. If it still gets tight, shoot it with some more penetrant, run it back in, run it back out. That'll save you a lot of headache on broken bolts. Sometimes though, they're just seized up and there's no saving that. So, all right, next couple things I need to knock out to get this cab ready to completely cut it in half and, you know, store it, is I'm gonna take the heater box off. Probably gonna go ahead and take master cylinder off. I may go ahead and take this off. I might actually test this and see if this actually works. Steve doesn't have wipers. And the motor had gone out on it a while back, and I know I bought a replacement, but it didn't fit right, so it's just sitting in a box. I don't even have wipers on it anymore, so it'd be nice to have wipers. You know, they're nice to have. But I'll go ahead and pull what I need to off the front of this guy just to make its profile a little narrower. And then we're going to have to pop the windshield out. I don't necessarily have to take it all the way out. Windshields are fun. This one, I'm not worried about cracking it. Just in case you didn't know, it's got a couple chips in it. So I'm not too worried about this windshield. So what I'm going to end up doing is, it's similar to the back. It just has the one little lock. So I'll pry this guy out. I'll pull this little strip out that goes all the way around. And once that's out, I'll go ahead and start lifting on a corner and working my way out. Basically, I'm just wanting to get this thing up enough to where I can get a blade on both sides of this A-pillar. And then once that's good, then I'll set the windshield back down. And I'm already at a spot here on the floor where all I got to do is just cut across the rocker, cut across that side. I'm just going to use Sawzall for it. I've done it before with the plasma cutter. It makes it really nice, really quick. But my plasma cutter, like I said, it's a cheapie. It's a little $200 cut 50, I think is what it's called. eBay special, man. I mean, you know. But it's a contact, so it has to touch the metal to spark the arc to get it to start cutting. And if it's too dirty of a metal, or there's just too much crap in the way, you lose the spark, you lose the arc, and then you got to start over, find a spot back. So it's such a small cut. Sawzall be great for this. So I'll just take and Sawzall this and Sawzall the A-pillar, and yeah, we'll be rocking and rolling on this guy, and then he'll be ready. The back half and top of this thing will be ready to go to scrap. Almost forgot. Still got to cut this part off. That would suck. Take it to the scrapyard and be like, I know I'm forgetting something. What am I forgetting? You know, so yeah, don't let me forget that. So, so I guess, yeah, I guess that's what I'm gonna have to do is go ahead and cut that part out. So I don't forget, cut that part out for the striker panel, and then pop out the windshield, cut the A-pillar, and yeah. It's a mess, but you know, I'll get it all done. So right now I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna pull all this front crap off. I'm not gonna film this. It's pulling bolts and pulling crap off. So anyhow, I'll catch back up whenever I get the front. I get all this crap off the front of the firewall, and I'll catch back up whenever I'm ready to pop the windshield out, cut and cut and cut. So catch y'all here in just a moment. right, so went to pull the windshield. I've actually never pulled a windshield in one of these, so I don't know exactly. I would assume it's the same as pulling the rear window, but definitely the glass is more fragile, especially when it's already broken. So yeah, that's why I put the safety goggles on, because I saw a few shards flying. I was like, I don't really want any of that in my eyes. So yeah, you have to kind of forgive the sweatiness out here. It's I think it's about 90 degrees outside. At least it feels it. It is hot. But yeah, so went through. You can see I just cut plumb through the A-pillar. Got into the glass a little bit. That's kind of how I knew to stop. Couldn't see as well on this side, so I actually got into the glass a lot more, which really made me glad I was wearing my safety glasses. So next couple things I got to do is cut the floor and go across this rocker. And you can see, I mean, that floor is, ugh, it's bad. And the smell.
What is that? It smells like a turd covered in burnt hair.
And it smells pretty, you know, it looks like it smells. Smells like it looks. So, yeah, not pleasant. So, I got that cut on the A-pillars. This is where it gets a little tricky, because I'm not sure the best method for this. So, the only thing holding the roof on right now is it just resting on the windshield. And I guess you'd call it the B pillar, because it's the only other pillar there is. But where I've got to cut the strikers out, this part's the only other thing holding the back end up. So once I cut that, it's all going to be weight on this windshield right here at this joint. So I think what I'm going to do, probably figure out a way to kind of secure this, maybe. I can rig something up, I'm guessing. And then go ahead and cut down here. I'm probably going to cut as low as I can, which would be probably down in here. And once I get that cut, then I'll go ahead and finish this cut out. Maybe. No, I don't want to get into all that. So I'll probably cut it probably right here, because I got a clear shot all the way around. So I'll just use that as a cut line. And then I'll use this as a cut line to go on the bottom side. Because all I'm going to do on Jackson's truck is cut out the bad metal and weld this metal in. So, pretty simple. And then we'll go and we'll cut this. And then the really fun part, which is trying to get the two separated and get this front, you know, get the firewall side off the trailer. I have a feeling that's not going to be all that easy. She's wedged in there pretty good. Although once I cut that thing, that rear half should set down a little bit, and maybe I'll slide something under here and chalk the front so it can't slide down or pinch down. Yeah, I think I'll do that. And then that rear end should fall down, and then I can take this thing and drag it around back, offload it, and then load up the rest of my scrap. So I'll catch back up here in a minute once I kind of get my bearings. All right, now there we go. Got two good pieces, plenty of really good metal on there, and I'll probably, yeah, watch out for metal, that stuff's sharp. Got a nice little cut there. I'll probably end up just cutting right in here and just cutting a square out, welding her back in place. Okay, so everything's cut out except for the floor and the rocker. I'm gonna do that right now. Well, it did what I didn't want it to do, which is pinch back on itself. I was afraid that might happen. So, I guess I gotta get a jack in here or something to get this thing lifted up just a little bit. Yep. I'll do it. So many smells coming out of there.
It's the smell.
Can't be healthy.
I can taste your stink.
All right, folks. Yeah, it's not going as easily as I'd hoped. Last time I did one of these, I did it in the floor here, and I didn't have a windshield to deal with and all that. It was so much easier. So, not to mention, God, it's hot. Don't worry, drinking plenty of water here. So, I've got to lift up the windshield and the roof line and all that stuff. And of course, you know, it's on a trailer, it's way up high, and it's kind of like, how do you do that? Well, I could basically play musical chairs with all the vehicles, get Jackson's truck moved out of the way, pull the trailer back in here, use my engine hoist or my ceiling hoist, but that's a lot of work. So I'm just going to get the cherry picker out, extend the boom as far out as it'll go, and then I got some 4x4s out back, and I'll ratchet sketch level 1000. So I'll just take and ratchet strap a 4x4 to it in a couple places just to keep it good and, you know, on there, and roll that in here, and then just basically lift. All I need to do is just clear it by an inch and I'll be fine. So I've lifted cabs like this before. It works okay. So I'm going to do that, and once I get everything moved around and set up, I'll join back in. Little food for thought, shortcut, whatever you want to call it. So did you know with a cherry picker, the most frustrating thing is when it's sitting like this, collapse down, and you got to get it up there and you spend forever cranking this thing. Don't do that. Do this. Grab the front, pick the cylinder up. It's hard to do this with one hand. And then give her a couple little pumps. And there you go. Save your arm, save you a little bit of time. You're welcome. So I got that done. That's what she looks like. Just take it, set it over, support it on the end, a couple ratchet straps, hold her in place, and she's ready to go. I'll jack this front up and basically get it in the cab and just start pushing, try to lift this cab up just a little bit, and we'll see what happens. Oh, don't break. Well, that worked well. So you can see windshield is separated from the lower part. Now all I got to do is make sure that I've cut all the way through, because I honestly don't know if I got all the way through the supports. And I've got my Sawzall caught on the other side. So let's see what we can do real quick. Alrighty, so got that guy all cut down, ready to go. When Jackson gets back or gets home from school, I'll have him help me drag that thing out back. Trailer's kind of occupied, so I loaded up a bunch of old scrap crap that I just had laying around, stuff I'm not going to do anything with. So yeah, there's a bunch. I ended up pitching that steering column after getting that guy out and kind of looking at it a little bit more. It's pretty ruined. So it's in pretty bad shape. So I was like, man, this ain't even worth somebody to rebuild. They're cheap enough, and it's just a standard. It's just a standard no tilt column. Nothing fancy. And the steering wheel isn't even all that great. It's gummy, just like the rest of them. Like all of them get. So whew, it's hot. This is like the first hot day of the year, and I'm out here just killing it in the garage, and it's really hot, and I'm really out of shape, and I'm not really prepared for this heat. So so I think I'm going to go inside and rinse my contacts out because my eyes are on fire from all the sweat getting in them, and enjoy some air conditioning for just a little bit. Well, all right, folks. So I know it's not my normal stuff that I typically do on the channel. Actually, I don't know if there's really quite normal stuff. I mean, really normal stuff would be me working on this thing and failing at part of it and having to go back and fix that. And but the Blazer will be coming back here shortly. Actually hoping here in the next week or two to get back on the Blazer. I've got the pans for the rear. So we got the new bed floor, both sides, all three pieces for that. That all came in, so that's all ready to go. But first I've got, you know how it is. Whenever you have something with a flat surface in a shop or a garage, it automatically becomes a table. And that truck is no exception. I got crap stacked on the hood. I mean, I just showed you inside the truck. Nowhere's safe. So anyways, here in the next week or two, I'm gonna get cracking back on the Blazer. Like I said, I've got the new pans for the rear. The front pans are pretty well done. There's a couple little spots left to kind of just finish welding. I literally haven't touched this thing since last time I did a video on it. But there's still a little bit of stuff there to do. I did look. Oh yeah, I mean, more Pontiac parts. But I did do some thinking on this part the other day, and I think I'm going to try something a little different here. I'll have to do some measuring and some figuring on that. But I've got an idea for that, which might be a little bit cooler, a little bit cleaner. So I forgot that door closes really easy. So anyway, yeah, next week or two, we're going to get cracking back on the Blazer. Yeah, I've got to get that thing knocked out because October's going to be here before I know it. And he's going to be like, Dad, can I borrow a truck? Because then I won't be able to say, take your own. Oh, Lord, they grow up so fast. So anyways, I do appreciate y'all guys watching. If you haven't liked the video, go ahead and hit that like button. If you made it this far and you haven't subscribed, why haven't you subscribed? Just hit the the little button down there. So anyways, I do appreciate all y'all guys and gals watching the videos. If you have any comments, questions, whatever, drop them down below. I'm usually pretty quick on the comments. So anyhow, thanks for watching, and we'll catch y'all next time. Just remember, it ain't got to be perfect, just good enough. We'll holler at y'all later.